Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Blackwater. Let's get straight into the storyline. The film begins with a man named Wheeler waking up after being unconscious for several hours. He looks around, confused, and realizes he's in a strange place.
Morning, sunshine.
Soon another man named Marco appears and tells him they are on a submarine. Wheeler feels dizzy and has a headache as he's not used to being underwater. Then Marco drops the big news that Wheeler has been kidnapped.
You're 30,000 leagues under the goddamn sea. What's the last thing you remember?
A few hours earlier, Wheeler had arrived at a quiet motel. There he met Melissa, another agent like him. Melissa wasn't just his partner in missions, because she was also someone very special to him. They were supposed to protect a drive containing secret documents. But Melissa, who missed Wheeler so much, decided to take a moment to relax and spend time with him. She assured Wheeler that the drive was safe. The next morning, Melissa left the motel to buy breakfast, leaving Wheeler behind to get ready for their next mission. As Wheeler was preparing, he heard a knock at the door. Thinking it was Melissa, he opened it, but instead of Melissa, a group of armed men barged in and attacked him. Soon after, Wheeler grabbed the drive he was protecting and ran to find Melissa at a nearby restaurant. When he saw her, he quickly told her to get in the car so they could escape. But trouble followed them as a group of armed men started shooting at them. Just as they were about to reach their car, Melissa realized the drive had fallen in the middle of the road. Without thinking twice, she ran back to grab it. But while trying to save the drive, Melissa got hurt. She was hit by a bullet and now she was in danger. Meanwhile, Wheeler was hiding behind the car, but he was out of bullets and feeling trapped. Seeing no other way, Wheeler made a tough choice. He decided to escape and leave the fight behind. Afterward, Wheeler contacted someone who was supposed to take the drive from him. This person gave him an address and told him to meet a man named Milton. Wheeler was warned to be very careful and make sure no one followed him. When Wheeler reached the meeting spot, he found Milton, but Milton had already been shot and was lying lifeless. Suddenly, armed men appeared and knocked Wheeler unconscious.
There you go.
When Wheeler woke up, he discovered that the group was led by a man named Ferris. Ferris accused Wheeler of being the one who shot Milton. In the middle of all this chaos, another agent named Rhodes appeared. Rhodes was Wheeler's boss and knew how skilled Wheeler was. Rhodes tried to convince Ferris that Wheeler wasn't an ordinary agent and wouldn't do something like this. But Ferris didn't listen and saw Rhodes as a nuisance instead of an ally.
As you wish.
As Ferris and Rhodes headed to a busy harbor, Ferris met another group of armed agents from the CIA, led by a man named Kingsley. Kingsley explained that the CIA had a secret prison on a submarine. The submarine was run by two teams, the technicians who took care of the ship and the CIA agents who handled the prisoners. These teams had an agreement to stay out of each other's way unless there was an emergency. The security on the submarine was super tight, so there was nothing to worry about. That's how Wheeler ended up on the submarine. Among the agents on board was Taylor, a hardworking woman who dreamed of getting promoted to a better job. When Taylor heard that Ferris was visiting the submarine, she quickly introduced herself, hoping to impress him. Taylor worked with her partner Ryan, and both of them were part of the team responsible for the prisoners. As soon as Wheeler woke up, Ferris ordered his team to prepare an interrogation room.
Agent Ferris, please let me explain something to you.
Ferris even invited Taylor to watch, saying it was a rare chance to see how things were done. When Wheeler was brought in, Ferris wasted no time. He demanded to know where the drive was. But Wheeler calmly said he didn't have it. This made Ferris furious. He accused Wheeler of shooting someone and insisted that Wheeler knew more than he was saying. Wheeler denied everything, which only made Ferris angrier. Ferris threatened Wheeler, saying he'd inject him with a drug that could put him in a coma forever. Taylor watched the interrogation but felt uneasy. She knew Wheeler wasn't just any agent, because he was a legend in the field. She also knew that no amount of threats would break his spirit.
Welcome to hell.
Just do it. You're wasting my time.
Ryan tried to comfort Taylor, reminding her to stay calm. Meanwhile, Ferris grew more frustrated and prepared to use even harsher methods. But just as things got tense, Rhodes stepped into the room. He stopped Ferris and offered to negotiate with Wheeler instead. Ferris was annoyed but agreed to give Rhodes a few minutes to talk. At that moment, Rhodes tried to convince Wheeler to hand over the drive. Rhodes explained that Wheeler was the only one who could access the secrets inside it. Wheeler was hesitant at first, keeping the location of the drive a secret. But since Rhodes was his boss, Wheeler agreed to reveal the hiding place, but only if they were alone in the room. Rhodes agreed to the deal, but then something shocking happened. Rhodes suddenly turned on Ferris and shot him. In an instant, Rhodes took control of the interrogation and all the CIA agents on the submarine. Meanwhile, Taylor and Ryan were heading back to the interrogation room. They were shocked to see everything had changed. In the chaos, Ryan ended up getting hurt. Wheeler used this chance to fight back against Rhodes and his team, then escaped Ryan through the submarine. While running, Wheeler bumped into Taylor and Ryan. He quickly explained to them that he wasn't their enemy and didn't want to hurt anyone. At that moment, Rhodes figured out Wheeler was with Taylor and Ryan. Rhodes called out to Taylor, demanding that she hand over Wheeler. But Wheeler warned Taylor not to listen, saying Rhodes would hurt both of them if she did. Instead of trusting Rhodes, Taylor decided to act like Wheeler was her prisoner. She led him away to avoid suspicion. With Wheeler missing, Kingsley ordered his team to keep a close eye on the submarine CCTV to track Taylor and Wheeler's movements.
Rankin, I need eyes. I need eyes on the monitor. If you see them, let me know.
Yeah, copy that.
Meanwhile, Taylor brought Wheeler to a team member's room. Ryan helped bandage Wheeler's injured arm and asked him to explain what was happening. Wheeler told them everything. He revealed that Rhodes had betrayed everyone and taken over the submarine. Wheeler planned to fight back against Rhodes, even if he had to do it alone. But he asked for Taylor and Ryan's help, hoping they would join him in stopping Rhodes and saving the day. Now Wheeler needed help to contact someone outside. Taylor told Wheeler that the only way to communicate was through the control room, but it was dangerous to go there alone. Meanwhile, Rhodes talked to Kingsley to figure out Wheeler's next move. Rhodes guessed Wheeler would head to the control room to get help. Sure enough, Wheeler and his team reached the hallway leading to the control room. But something was strange, because the room, usually guarded by 3 people, was completely empty. Taylor grew suspicious and decided to check the room first. What they didn't know was that, following Kingsley's orders, the control room staff were hiding, waiting to trap Wheeler. At first, they thought Taylor was alone inside the control room. Taylor discovered the communication system had been forcefully shut down. There was no way to send a message for help. She wanted to investigate further, but Wheeler had a bad feeling and told her to come back. Taylor didn't listen and stayed in the room, so Ryan tried to convince her to leave. At that moment, Rhodes figured out that Taylor was with Ryan and Wheeler. Without delay, a gunfight broke out. Tragically, Ryan was shot. Then Wheeler fired back and helped Taylor escape the room. Even though it was heartbreaking, Wheeler had to leave Ryan behind to save Taylor from the flying bullets. Once again, Taylor and Wheeler managed to escape, which made Rhodes furious. Kingsley was also angry because some of his team were lost in the fight. Sadly, Ryan didn't survive, and Miss left Taylor heartbroken. She blamed Wheeler for leaving Ryan behind, saying it was his fault she had lost her partner. Wheeler tried to calm her down, explaining they needed to focus on their next plan to survive. At that time, Wheeler and Taylor needed to find a way to communicate with the outside world, and the only place they could do that was the operator's room. But the problem was the room was locked tight, and only one person from the CIA team had the key. After thinking for a while, Wheeler decided they had to sneak in secretly. Soon, Wheeler and Taylor reached the engine room. Taylor had a clever idea to get the technicians out of the operator's room. She told Wheeler they could change the pressure in the submarine's pipes, which would cause a leak. Wheeler agreed to help, and Taylor's plan worked.
Come on, help me.
The pipes started leaking, and the technicians panicked. The technicians quickly reported the leak to the submarine captain, Captain Darrows. The captain told them to go and check the leak. This was the moment Taylor had been waiting for. She hoped the technicians would open the operator's room door, so she and Wheeler could sneak inside. But before they could do that, one of Kingsley's men, Ellis, spotted them. Luckily, Wheeler managed to stop Ellis, and he and Taylor escaped. Meanwhile, the technicians arrived at the engine room and started fixing the leak. They reported to Captain Darrows that the leak was under control, but only for a short time. At the same time, Rhodes was pressuring Kingsley to find Wheeler quickly. Rhodes was worried that Wheeler might escape the submarine, but Kingsley told Rhodes to stay calm. He reminded Rhodes that the submarine was deep underwater and communication was limited. Kingsley believed Wheeler couldn't escape that easily. At this time, Wheeler and Taylor were in the medical room. Taylor quickly treated her wound and asked Wheeler about the drive he was protecting. She didn't understand why Wheeler would risk his life for it. Finally, Wheeler explained that the drive held secret intelligence documents that could cause a lot of harm if they fell into the wrong hands. He also revealed that the drive wasn't with him. Rhodes was only threatening Wheeler, trying to force him to reveal its location. Now Wheeler was planning a bigger attack against Rhodes. But since it was just him and Taylor, Wheeler decided to ask for help from Marco, who was locked up in a cell. Marco wasn't an ordinary prisoner, because he was a German soldier captured by the Americans. At first, Marco didn't want to help because he didn't see any benefit in it. But Wheeler managed to strike a deal, and Marco finally agreed to join them. Meanwhile, in the control room, Kingsley noticed that Marco's cell was unlocked. He quickly figured out that Taylor was behind it. At the same time, Captain Darrows planned to change the submarine's route because he was worried the leaking pipes could get worse, causing the sub to sink. Rhodes didn't agree with the plan, so he and Kingsley split up to handle the two problems. Kingsley told Rhodes to focus on capturing Wheeler while he went to check the prison corridor with 3 of his men.
We have to move fast on this. You can't let him off this boat. You understand that, right?
As they searched, the first team of guards found Taylor lying on the floor. Thinking she was dead, they moved toward the cell, not realizing Wheeler and Marco were ready to fight back. A fierce battle broke out. It was one-on-one combat, and Taylor was almost overwhelmed, struggling to beat Kingsley's men. But in the end, she managed to defeat them. While this was happening, Kingsley called one of his men, Dax, to check on the situation. Moments later, Marco had a clever idea. He pretended to be Dax and spoke to Kingsley, saying that he had captured Wheeler. Kingsley, believing him, told the fake Dax to meet him at the end of the corridor. Marco happily agreed and led Wheeler to where Kingsley and his guards were waiting. Kingsley didn't realize that the man behind Wheeler wasn't actually Dax. On the other hand, Taylor stayed hidden, ready to surprise Kingsley. In no time, Taylor, Marco, and Wheeler worked together to defeat Kingsley and his guards. Afterward, Taylor and Wheeler hurried to the control room to find Rhodes and Captain Darrows inside. In the control room, Rhodes was trying to convince Captain Darrows that Kingsley had betrayed them. Rhodes told the captain that dangerous prisoners had escaped and were planning to attack. He begged the captain not to change the submarine's route. After checking the situation, Captain Darrows decided to keep the submarine on its original course. Just then, Wheeler and Taylor arrived in the control room. There, Wheeler tried to explain to the captain that he wasn't a threat. He introduced himself as a special agent on a mission and said he needed to reach the surface quickly to prove he meant no harm. Unfortunately, the captain trusted Rhodes more than Wheeler, and the room grew tense. Rhodes threatened the captain, shocking Darrows's crew. Rhodes also demanded that Wheeler drop his weapon. Wheeler refused at first, but suddenly, someone unexpected entered the room, and it was Melissa. Melissa, who everyone thought was dead, was alive. It turned out she hadn't been shot after all, but since Wheeler didn't try to save her, he had no idea she had survived. Melissa had been brought on this mission and was now standing there, determined to find out where Wheeler had hidden the secret drive. When Melissa arrived, Wheeler felt confused. He couldn't hide how much he missed her. But he didn't let his feelings stop him. Secretly, Wheeler activated the communication system to contact help from outside. Taylor noticed what Wheeler was doing and decided to distract Rhodes and his men to give Wheeler more time. Eventually, Wheeler gave in and told Melissa where the drive was hidden. He revealed that it was inside his personal safety deposit box. As soon as Melissa got the answer, she left Wheeler behind. Meanwhile, Taylor kept fighting against Rhodes. Just in time, Wheeler managed to save Taylor, and together they escaped the submarine. When they reached the surface, they were greeted by armed CIA agents.
I'm coming, don't shoot!
Taylor quickly explained that someone had escaped, not Wheeler, but Melissa Miller, the undercover agent. A few months later, Wheeler and Taylor were called to the CIA office to report on the hostage situation aboard the submarine. To Taylor's surprise, her bravery earned her a promotion to special agent, and she was officially partnered with Wheeler. Elsewhere, Melissa, disguised as someone else, entered a bank. She was there to collect millions of dollars from Wheeler's account. But just as she thought she was in the clear, Marco appeared and shot her.
Off!
Surprisingly, Marco had also escaped from the submarine. Now free, Marco was ready to demand the big reward Wheeler had promised him. And with that, the film ends.